You know that feeling, right? Your heart just drops. You're doing your morning check on your orchids, and bam, there it is, a weird, discolored spot on a leaf that was absolutely perfect yesterday. So what do? Is it nothing to worry about, or is it the start of a total disaster? That one little spot kicks off a really critical question. Because that spot forces you to make a choice, and you have to make it fast. What you're looking at could be one of two very different things. Either it's a simple contained injury, or it's a runaway infection that could literally kill your entire plant in less than 3 days. Making the right call is everything. So let's frame this as a kind of showdown. In one corner, we have an environmental accident, basically a non-living stressor. And in the other corner, we have a full-on biological assassin, a living pathogen that is actively trying to eat your plant from the inside out. So let's get to know our contenders. We're really looking at two totally different kinds of problems here. First, there's what we call abiotic stress. That's an injury from the environment itself. And second, we have a biotic invasion, an attack by a living organism. Let's break down exactly what each of those means for your orchid. Okay, first up is sunburn. And let's be super clear, this is not a disease, it's a physical injury. Just think of it like this. The leaf gets hit with way more light and heat than it can handle, its internal cooling system gets overwhelmed, and the cells literally cook and die. But here's the most important thing to remember. The damage is self-limiting. Once you move the plant, the spot stops growing. It's a static, finished event.
And then we have our biological assassin, bacterial rot. This is caused by some seriously aggressive bacteria. They don't just kill the cells. They release these enzymes that literally dissolve the glue holding the leaf together, turning it to mush. And this is the crucial part. It spreads, and it spreads fast. An infection can go from a tiny little spot to a completely dead plant in just a couple of days.
So, how in the world do you tell these two apart when every single hour counts? Well, the good news is you don't need a lab. You just need your senses. We're going to run through a really simple 3-point diagnostic test that you can do right now, right at home. First up, the touch test. Go ahead and gently press on the spot. If it's a sunburn, the dead tissue will feel dry, kind of papery, maybe even a little crispy. But it will feel firm underneath. It won't give way. A bacterial infection, on the other hand, feels completely different. The tissue has zero structural integrity. It'll be soft, mushy, and might even feel like a tiny water-filled blister that just collapses with the slightest pressure. All right, next up is the smell test. And honestly, this one is often the dead giveaway. A sunburn is a sterile injury. It's just cooked plant tissue, so it won't have any smell at all. But bacterial rot, oh, it stinks. The bacteria are literally decomposing the plant, creating this foul, putrid smell. People often say it smells like rotting fish. If you smell that, you have your answer. It's bacteria, no question. And finally, we have the time test. This is your 24-hour confirmation. A sunburn is a one-and-done event. Once you move the plant out of the sun, the damage is done. That spot will not get any bigger. But a bacterial infection is alive. It's dynamic. It will keep growing and spreading, eating more tissue. Here's a great little pro tip. Take a marker and draw a line right around the border of the spot. Check back in 12 or 24 hours. If the spot has crossed your line, it's an active infection.
Okay, so you've run the tests, you have your diagnosis, now it's time for action. What you do next depends completely on whether you're dealing with the simple accident or the deadly assassin.
If it's sunburn, you can take a deep breath. The response is simple and calm. First, get the plant out of that harsh light right away. Second, and this is important, resist the urge to cut the leaf off. I know it's ugly, but the plant is perfectly capable of sealing off that dead tissue by itself. The rest of the leaf can still work for the plant. Cutting just creates an open wound, and that's like putting out a welcome mat for bacteria. Then just make a plan to reintroduce it to brighter light much more slowly next time. But if it's bacterial rot, this is an emergency. This is code red. First, isolate the patient. Get it far away from your other plants. Then, you need to perform surgery. Get a sterile tool. A fresh, single-edged razor blade is perfect. Now listen closely, because this is the most critical part. You must cut at least a full inch into the healthy green tissue beyond the infected spot. The bacteria are always further into the leaf than you can see. Finally, dust that open wound with some ground cinnamon from your kitchen. It's a fantastic natural powder that helps dry out the wound and keep fungus away. You know, fixing a problem is one thing, but preventing it from ever happening again, that's the real goal. So, Let's shift gears from emergency response to creating an environment where these issues are just way less likely to pop up in the first place.
To prevent sunburn, you have to respect the process of acclimation, what some people call hardening off. You can't just take a plant from a dim indoor spot and throw it into the bright sun. It's a massive shock. Instead, try a 3-week schedule. For week 1, put it in deep shade, just bright, indirect light. In week 2, you can introduce it to gentle morning or late afternoon sun only. By week 3, it's had time to build up its natural sunscreens and can move to its final spot.
Preventing bacterial rot is really all about controlling moisture and airflow. Bacteria need water to swim around and multiply, so always try to water in the morning so the leaves are totally dry by nighttime. Keep a small fan going for constant, gentle air movement. Try not to get water stuck down in the crown of the plant. And always, always sterilize your tools. These simple little habits create a world where that biological assassin just can't get started.
Probably the best way to prevent all of these problems is to realize that your orchid is constantly giving you feedback. You just have to learn its language. And the easiest language to learn is leaf color. A really dark forest green leaf means it's probably not getting enough light. A vibrant, happy emerald green is the sweet spot. If you see a yellowish green, kind of chartreuse color, that means it's getting tons of energy, perfect for highlight plants. And if you see a little red or purple blush on the edges, that's the plant's natural sunscreen kicking in, telling you you're right at the upper limit of what it can handle.
So the real takeaway here is this. That spot on the leaf isn't just a blemish, it's a message. Every single change in color, in texture, in firmness, that's your plant communicating with you about its needs and its stress. The key to becoming a really great orchid grower isn't just about knowing what to do in a crisis. It's about learning how to listen every single day.